guys, it's time for another Q&A. I'm really sad because Sherlock was just like laying here for the longest time, and I thought maybe I can do this entire Q&A with Sherlock in it, or at least part of it with Sherlock in it. Like, that would be so cute. And the second that I got up to hit the record button, he just peaced out. So I just wanted you to know like what you're missing out on. Also, the art in the background is from Kazaku on Tumblr. Apparently you've been trying to show this to me for a very long time, and I keep missing it, so I'm very glad that it got the recognition that it deserved. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know how this works, I have 3 mugs here. The first one is work questions, the second one is personal questions, and the third one is silly questions. I will answer 3 questions out of each mug. Also, this is Thanksgiving week for the US, so a lot of the questions wound up being about Thanksgiving. Just a heads up. Oh, this would have been so much cuter with the kitty. Where are you? At BlackBeltJ19, have you ever considered playing video games with your followers? I definitely have, specifically like on a stream, but I think I've talked about this before. I have like weird performance anxiety about multiplayer games in general. I usually just play solo games, but my 24-hour stream forever ago, that was the first time that I ever played TF2, and a lot of you showed up and helped me learn how to play, and I was awful. I was like the worst in the world, and I kept dying over and over again. But that game has turned out to be like one of my favorite games, and one of the reasons is because I had so much help right at the beginning. So yeah, I've thought about that a lot. It's one of those things that, it's one of those weird things where I just have anxiety about it. Like I can't get myself to just do it. So yeah, it's something that I would love to do. I just haven't done it. So it's the story of my life. At Blackout2222, what is Thanksgiving? What a well-timed question. I love that that's the first one that came out before any of the other Thanksgiving questions. That just, what is Thanksgiving question came out. Okay, so everybody else in the world likes to joke that it's the day that we celebrate that we killed all of the Native Americans. Not true. So Thanksgiving is a day when we're supposed to give thanks for a good harvest and for our lives, essentially. It started, I think the first like Thanksgiving day was in the 1600s when the Pilgrims came and met the Native Americans, and the Native Americans helped them cultivate the soil. So there was a day that's recorded where there were like 100 Native Americans and like 30-something Pilgrims, and they all came together and ate together, and so they all gave thanks together. And then Abe Lincoln, I believe, I looked this up recently, actually. That's the only reason why I know all this stuff. Abe Lincoln turned it into an actual holiday while he was president. Okay, I'm just gonna double check these facts before I move on. The event that Americans commonly call the first Thanksgiving was celebrated by the Pilgrims after their first harvest in the New World in 1621. This feast lasted 3 days, and it was attended by 90 Native Americans and 53 Pilgrims. The New England colonists were accustomed to regularly celebrating Thanksgivings, or days of prayer, thanking God for blessings. It became an official federal holiday in 1863 during the Civil War, when President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national day of thanksgiving and praise. So there you go. I was mostly right. I was mostly right about what Thanksgiving is, so now you know. And now when we do the other questions, you'll have more of a base. Silly question. At Vazaroff, what would you put in your Thanksgiving burrito? Oh my gosh. Okay, no cranberry sauce because cranberry sauce sucks. I'm sorry for any of you who love cranberry sauce. I'm just not a fan. So I would take probably like, it wouldn't be just a normal tortilla. It would be like, okay, so one of the things that I don't like about cranberry sauce is the texture. So maybe you can make like a cranberry tortilla, right? You make spinach tortillas, they make sun-dried tomato tortillas. You can make a cranberry tortilla. So you make a cranberry tortilla, and then you would put a lot of stuffing in it. Not a lot. Maybe just like you know, a decent spread along the whole thing. And then you put a lot of turkey in there. And then you would put a nice little sprinkling of green bean casserole. And then you'd roll it up. That would be all that I wanted in there. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to actually have Thanksgiving now. Oh, I'm so hungry. At Count Mantis, what is something about your channels you would like to change? I mean, there are so many things that I would really love to do with my channels. The reason that lately I've been saying, man, I would really love to have an editor, is because I find that I have the time to film things, but I don't. Editing takes a long time. So like, I would say if there was anything that I could change about my channels, it would be that both channels had 2 videos a day. I would love that. That would be like primo for me, but it's just so far out of my reach right now. Like I'm mostly able to do 1 video a day, but I would love to be able to one day have 2 videos a day and have help, you know? Beyond that, just having channel banners would be nice. Having an end slate that doesn't still have the TGS logo. Look, I'm working on these things. At David Ball's house. Does your family drink beer or any other alcoholic beverages on the day of thanks? We have a lot of alcoholics in our family. So actually the beer that we have around is non-alcoholic beer. We usually have non-alcoholic beer around on celebration days. But other than that, we have wine. Fortunately, I don't think anybody who has like an issue with alcohol in our family drinks wine. But anywho, yeah. So we have non-alcoholic beer and we have some wine around, but everybody just kind of like, you know, has a little bit of wine, sips at it. The meal is so heavy. The food that you have for Thanksgiving is so heavy, just all of it. So really, if you have a beer, you're just taking up room that could be filled with delicious stuffing, turkey, and other such things. And if you have too much wine, then you're not really going to be able to appreciate the meal. So it's like, you know, we all take it easy. And actually, I most of the time just prefer to have sparkling apple cider because it's tradition for me. At Jay Fitzel, if there was a movie based on your life, who would you want the director to be and who would play you? Okay, I would want Peter Jackson to direct the movie, and it would be in a fantasy setting, but the same things of my life would happen, so it would wind up feeling kind of surreal. And then I would want Kristen Chenoweth to play me and sing all of my lines. At Calmbreen, would you recommend trying to become a YouTuber as a hobby? Is it worth the effort? Oh man, that's a hard question because I think that it really depends, like you've specified, as a hobby, not with the intention of it being a career, right? So that makes it rough because why do you want to be a YouTuber? Not saying that anybody should start being a YouTuber purely because they want to make money off of it. I don't think that that's necessarily true. But what is it about YouTube that you want to be part of? Are you trying to build a portfolio so that it can eventually affect your career and your future? Are you looking for fame and recognition? Are you looking for critique and feedback? Like, there's so many different things. And yes, YouTube is very fun. I think that YouTube is extremely fun, but it's also very hard. So it really does matter what your motivation is. When I first started doing YouTube, it was a lot easier to be seen and to be found. And at this point, there are so many people who are trying to get into YouTube that it makes it really hard. Just really, really hard for anyone to notice you or find you. So it's rough. It's rough. And if you don't care about getting views, then that's fine. But if you are hoping to get a lot of views, then I think that it's important to look at your motivations and find out exactly what you want. Oh my gosh, are we on round 3 already? Oh my gosh, we are. Whoa, that came so fast, what? At Blackchester, oh my gosh, all of the ones that I pulled out of personal have to do with Thanksgiving. This is great. What is your favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner? Green bean casserole, no question. Green bean casserole is so good. I had a friend in college who didn't know how to make anything, and then he learned how to make green bean casserole, and then he just made like 8 different kinds of green bean casserole. Like, he just kept changing his recipe. It was the best. And I'm actually really sad because the last time that I had it, it didn't turn out very good, and that was so bizarre to me. I was like, why isn't this amazing and delicious? I did the same thing I always do. What went wrong? And I haven't made green bean casserole ever since because it really threw me off. I was like, maybe I'm just bad at it. Maybe I should just never make it again. All right, last question. It better be a good one. At Owl Socks Chick. If you could tame any mythological beast, which would it be and why? It's hard. I like a lot. When I was a kid, I loved griffins. I thought that they were the coolest thing in the world. And actually, the stage at which most people love dragons, I didn't really go through that. And only recently have I learned to really love dragons. I've always really loved reptiles. Reptiles and I have been just bros for life. and I had a lot of them when I was growing up, but for some reason I never really connected with dragons. And now, lately, and not just because of Game of Thrones, this is before Game of Thrones, but in the last like 5 years or so, I've really, really loved dragons. And I feel like that's so late. So spitballing off of that, I think that I would want to tame like a hydra, because hydras are typically dragon beings with tons of heads, and I think that would be super cool. Originally, I was thinking about like Cerberus, like a multi-headed dog, and then I was like, but hydras exist. I could have a multi-headed dragon. I want a hydra, yeah. Anywho, that's it for the Thanksgiving Q&A. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you follow me on Twitter at DexBonus, DEXBONUS, then maybe you'll see the next time I tweet out asking for questions, and maybe I'll choose your question and put them in there. But we had some good questions that I didn't even get to. Poop. Ask me again. All right, I'll see you guys. You're wonderful. Have a fantastic week. Mwah.